PSVR2 is most likely still some time away, and now that it's been a good few months since the official announcement of the upcoming VR tech, we've had plenty of time to speculate on the kinds of games we will see and the ones we'd love to see. VR is a whole new way to experience a game, and it really is a hard sell if you haven't tried it yourself. But once you put on that visor and boot up your all-encompassing digital worlds, there is nothing quite like it. And Sony knows it. With its renewed focus on the medium with PSVR2, we can expect a lot more in terms of thrilling motion mechanics, stunning graphical immersion, and not to mention, brand new perspectives on familiar worlds. But of course, there are some specific titles that just have to happen. We absolutely need them to arrive with the PSVR2. Hello there everyone, it's Aaron here from Push Square, and let's break it down with the 10 games we need on PSVR2. Driving in really fancy cars we'll never be able to afford in VR sounds like a bit of a no-brainer, and that's because it is. Gran Turismo Sports included VR support, and we'd love to see that tradition continue for Gran Turismo 7 with the launch of PSVR2. This game has hundreds of cars, single player and multiplayer components, and an in-depth customization system, and with PSVR2 support, it could be elevated to one of the greatest driving sims ever made. Long touted as one of the best VR titles ever, HalfLife Alyx has been locked off from us mere mortal PlayStation players as a PC exclusive. Admittedly, there wasn't a chance in hell the OG PSVR could run such a game, especially with its aging motion controls. However, the PSVR2 would be more than up for the task. With impressive levels of interactivity, it really would be nice to see what all the fuss is about and steep ourselves in the world of Half-Life once more. Okay, right, this one is a bit of a personal inclusion, but I'm the one making the list here. I am a massive fan of the Alien franchise, and Alien Isolation just nailed that aesthetic, nailed the horror, and was the perfect dose of nostalgia. So how about it, Sony? This game in VR would be incredible, you just know it. With its unpredictable xenomorph, the amazing retro futurist visuals, and the claustrophobic setting just mean that this would be a delight to play in VR, and an absolute horror of course. Plus, we know it would work well thanks to some VR mods that came out a while back. Honestly Sony, if you're listening here, please. This one we've actually already got on PSVR, but my god was it a letdown. Motion controls were only included through DualShock 4s, so you could only really use one hand, and aiming down scopes or performing certain animations returned to flat screen view. It was all a mess, but it doesn't have to stay that way. Hitman 3 did get a PC VR release with more of the same issues, but third time could be a charm with the launch of PSVR2. And with every single level from the recently wrapped up IO Interactive trilogy, this on its own could be worth the price of admission for a snazzy new VR headset. Sometimes the best VR has to offer is in its ability to immerse you in a world you already know so well. And while we know Horizon Call of the Mountain is coming, I'd love to see more first-party Sony titles that allow players to take the VR plunge into their worlds. Think Batman Arkham VR for Sony exclusives. Imagine running your hands through the pampas grass with a katana in hand in a Ghost of Tsushima experience, or a surely nauseating for some but thrilling swing through New York City as Spider-Man. Sony has a wealth of worlds that are ripe for exploring, and shorter PSVR2 titles would allow us to see them from a whole new perspective. Super Hot is one of the hallmarks of VR. This bullet-dodging puzzler was one of my first VR experiences, and it easily remains among my favourites. Slicing bullets on a knife's edge or landing that impossible last-minute shot proved that the Super Hot premise was made for VR. So how could we say no to more? A PSVR2 sequel would allow for more spine-crunching dodges and a bit more manoeuvrability thanks to that singular cable. And in reality, I just want to find more ways to dance around in the dark to the tune of Super
Hot.
For all intents and purposes, Tetris in VR shouldn't work. It's the kind of game that draws questioning looks when you say you're even playing it in VR in the first place. But as is the hard sell of VR, you really can't know how good it is till you try. And my word people, Tetris Effect takes the worries and stresses of the outside world and tosses them out the window. All that matters are blocks. With better 3D audio, the immersive rumbling of DualSense haptics and the 4K HDR visuals, Tetris Effect DLC, a brand new sequel, or even just a PSVR2 upgrade would make for one of the most essential purchases to come with the PSVR2's launch. It's no secret that I was more than a little upset when Resident Evil Village came and went without so much as a whisper about PSVR support. The sheer disrespect. However, a full year since the game was released, and I'm still holding out hope, and that hope is funneling into PSVR2, which would be the perfect place to launch this horror experience. While Biohazard was hands down one of the best VR experiences out there, the inclusion of the PSVR2's improved motion controls, increased resolution, field of view, and even haptic feedback on the visor could make Resident Evil Village VR much scarier and a far better time all round. I mean, who doesn't want to be chased down by werewolf creatures and 10-foot tall vampire ladies in VR? Blood and Truth isn't going to inspire many writers out there. It's a run-of-the-mill action plot you've seen a million times before, but what London studio got so right about it was making you feel like a bona fide action star. I can't tell you how many times I played the scene where you jump out of a window in slow motion in a hail of bullets. It really is spectacular stuff. This game was a looker as well, even on PSVR, so just imagine the potential with an experience like that running on PS5 and PSVR2, and one that gives the players maybe a tad more freedom outside of its on-rails rollercoaster experience. Building a game around the idea of VR rather than the VR around it, and amping it with next-gen tech could solidify this as a go-to experience on PSVR2. This last one might seem like a bit of an odd choice when the rest have been actual games, but honestly, sometimes just chilling with your pals in VR can be a good time of its own. A VR version of PlayStation Home, or in more modern terms a Sony version of VR Chat, could give players a space to meet up, chat games, watch movies, and maybe even dive into their favourite VR games from there. If treated as a hub to PSVR2, maybe baking in the PS Store with it, Sony could give players a vessel of which to explore and discover more VR experiences, while just relaxing with the more casual side of this exciting tech. And that's it for today. Let us know which VR title you'd love to see with the launch of PSVR2. And as always, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for all things PlayStation right here on Push Square.